The Scarlet Letter, written by Nathaniel Hawthorne, is widely regarded as a timeless masterpiece, a classic work of literature that takes us on a captivating journey through the intricacies of 17th-century Puritan Boston. This remarkable novel delves into the depths of human nature, exploring themes of sin, guilt, redemption, and societal expectations in a meticulously crafted setting that vividly captures the essence of a bygone era. With its richly detailed narrative and profound exploration of moral dilemmas, The Scarlet Letter continues to resonate with readers of all generations, standing as a testament to Hawthorne's enduring legacy as a master storyteller. The narrative of this captivating tale centers on the life of Hester Prynne, a youthful lady who finds herself at the center of a scandalous affair, resulting in her being subjected to a degrading public humiliation and the imposition of wearing a conspicuous scarlet letter A upon her bosom as a symbol of her transgression of adultery. Hester, with unwavering determination, steadfastly refuses to unveil the mysterious identity of her clandestine lover, shouldering the ensuing consequences single-handedly. In doing so, she finds herself subjected to a harrowing existence of isolation and relentless judgment, as the townspeople cast their scornful gazes upon her. As the narrative unfolds, Hester's spouse, Roger Chillingworth, makes his way to the city of Boston and eventually unearths the clandestine truth that Hester has been harboring. In his quest for vengeance, Chillingworth assumes the deceptive guise of a physician, cunningly concealing his true identity. He strategically befriends Arthur Dimmesdale, an esteemed minister and Hester's clandestine paramour, in order to further his sinister agenda. Dimmesdale is plagued by overwhelming guilt and inner turmoil, as he grapples with the immense burden of his concealed transgression. Simultaneously, Hester devotes herself wholeheartedly to nurturing and guiding her illegitimate daughter, Pearl, showering her with affection and ensuring her well-being. Pearl is depicted as not only a symbol of Hester's sin but also as a perpetual reminder of her shame. Nevertheless, amidst the numerous obstacles they encounter, Hester and Pearl manage to forge a profound and unbreakable connection. As time goes on and the years continue to pass, the weight of Dimmesdale's guilt grows increasingly unbearable, causing him to experience a gradual decline in both his mental and physical well-being. On the day designated for the town's Election Day sermon, Reverend Dimmesdale musters the courage to make a profound public confession, baring his soul and revealing to all the letter A etched deeply into his chest. In an act of ultimate sacrifice, he surrenders his life shortly thereafter, at long last attaining redemption. Following the demise of Dimmesdale, Chillingworth's raison d'etre in pursuing vengeance dissipates, ultimately leading to his own demise shortly thereafter. As for Hester, liberated from the burden of her scarlet letter, she does indeed reintegrate into the community, yet she still remains an ostracized figure. She leads a life of seclusion and solitude, devoid of companionship and social interaction, until the moment of her passing from this world. In death, she finds herself laid to rest in close proximity to Dimmesdale, sharing a final resting place and a tombstone that bears the unmistakable mark of the Scarlet Letter. As Reverend Dimmesdale stands on the scaffold, the weight of his guilt and hypocrisy finally becomes unbearable. With a trembling voice, he confesses his sins and exposes the scarlet letter that has tortured him for years. The crowd, shocked and speechless, bears witness to this extraordinary moment of truth. As Dimmesdale's confession echoes through the town, a sense of liberation washes over him. The heavy burden he has carried for so long begins to lift, and a glimmer of redemption shines through. The townspeople, initially astonished, start to feel a mix of sympathy and admiration for the tormented minister. They realize the strength it took for him to publicly acknowledge his wrongdoing. Hester, who has been silently observing from a distance, feels a profound sense of relief and gratitude. The secret that has bound her and Dimmesdale together is finally laid bare for all to see. Though she still carries the scarlet letter on her chest, it no longer feels like a mark of shame but a symbol of survival and resilience. As the sun sets on that fateful day, Dimmesdale's strength wanes. The emotional weight of his confession takes a toll on his already weakened body. He retreats to his chamber, where the physical pain intensifies, and his life slowly slips away. In his final moments, he finds solace in the knowledge that he has atoned for his sins and achieved redemption. With Dimmesdale's death, the driving force behind Roger Chillingworth's vengeful pursuit vanishes. The once intelligent and cunning man is left empty, devoid of purpose. He becomes a mere shell of his former self, consumed by bitterness and regret. The darkness that once fueled him now engulfs him entirely. Chillingworth's physical and mental deterioration becomes evident to those around him. The townspeople, recognizing the change in him, can only look on with a mixture of pity and disdain. It becomes apparent that his relentless quest for revenge has cost him his humanity. In the end, Chillingworth's demise mirrors the destruction he sought to inflict on others. Without a target for his malevolence, he withers away, a sad and pitiful figure. His obsession and vengeful nature have left him isolated and consumed by his own darkness. The events surrounding Dimsdale's confession and subsequent death mark a turning point for the town of Boston. The Scarlet Letter, once a symbol of shame and punishment, now becomes a symbol of forgiveness and redemption. The community begins to reflect on their own sins and the importance of compassion and understanding. As time passes, the memory of Reverend Dimsdale's sacrifice and redemption becomes a powerful reminder of the complexities of human nature. The Scarlet Letter, etched deeply into the town's history, serves as a constant reminder that even in the face of sin and suffering, redemption and forgiveness are possible. As Dimsdale's confession reverberates through the town of Boston, the once judgmental and unforgiving community begins to undergo a remarkable transformation. The Scarlet Letter, once a mark of shame and punishment, now takes on a new meaning, becoming a symbol of forgiveness and redemption. The townspeople, once quick to cast stones and condemn those who strayed from the rigid moral code, now find themselves reflecting on their own hidden sins and shortcomings. They begin to realize the importance of compassion and understanding. As they witness the immense burden that Dimsdale had carried for years, the realization dawns upon them that everyone is capable of wrongdoing, and it is through forgiveness and empathy that true redemption can be achieved. As the community grapples with their newfound understanding, they rally around Hester Prynne, the woman who had borne the Scarlet Letter with dignity and grace. No longer ostracized, she becomes a symbol of strength and resilience, inspiring others to confront their own demons and seek forgiveness. Meanwhile, the man who had once inflicted suffering and torment upon himself and those around him, Roger Chillingworth, finds himself isolated and consumed by his own darkness. His obsession with seeking revenge against Dimsdale has left him empty and devoid of any true connection to others. As he witnesses the transformation occurring within the community, he is forced to confront the emptiness of his own vengeful nature. It is during this time that the events surrounding Dimsdale's confession and subsequent death mark a turning point for the town of Boston. The Reverend's public acknowledgement of his sin and his ultimate act of redemption in the face of his impending death cause a profound impact on the community. Through Dimsdale's final moments, the townspeople witness the power of genuine remorse and the possibility of redemption. They are reminded that no one is beyond forgiveness and that the path to redemption lies in taking responsibility for one's actions. As the Scarlet Letter, once a symbol of shame and punishment, now becomes a symbol of forgiveness and redemption, the community of Boston is forever changed. The lessons learned from the trials and tribulations of Hester, Dimsdale, and Chillingworth serve as a constant reminder of the power of compassion, understanding, and the capacity for human growth and change. As news of the Reverend Dimsdale's impending death spreads throughout the town of Boston, a somber atmosphere descends upon its streets. The once judgmental and unforgiving townspeople find themselves reflecting on their own sins and shortcomings, struck by the realization that even the most revered figure in their community is not immune to temptation and weakness. The Reverend's public acknowledgement of his sin, standing before the entire congregation with his hand over his heart, is an act of immense courage and vulnerability. It shatters the facade of perfection that he had meticulously maintained for years, revealing the depths of his inner torment and guilt. The townspeople, who had once looked up to him as a paragon of virtue, now see him as a flawed human being, just like themselves. In witnessing Dimsdale's confession, the townspeople are confronted with their own complicity in his suffering. They had reveled in his eloquent sermons and admired his apparent piety, but now they are forced to question their own actions and judgments. They are made aware of the harm they had caused by silently condoning his secret sin, by allowing him to bear the burden alone. The Reverend's confession also serves as a catalyst for the townspeople to examine their own lives and seek redemption. They see in Dimsdale's remorseful eyes the possibility of forgiveness and renewal, realizing that true redemption can only come from a genuine acknowledgement of one's transgressions. The once divided community begins to come together, united by a shared understanding of the power of remorse and the potential for personal growth. As Dimsdale's health deteriorates, he becomes a symbol of both the consequences of sin and the transformative power of redemption. His physical suffering mirrors the internal torment he had endured for so long, but it also becomes a source of inspiration for the townspeople. They witness his unwavering determination to make amends, even in the face of death. and are moved by his unwavering faith in the possibility of redemption. When Dimmesdale finally succumbs to his illness, his death is not seen as a tragedy but rather as a testament to the transformative power of genuine remorse. The townspeople, who had once condemned him, now mourn his passing with a newfound sense of compassion and understanding. They realize that his final act of redemption has left an indelible mark on their community, forever changing the way they view sin, forgiveness, and the potential for personal growth. In the years that follow, the town of Boston becomes a place of humility and compassion, as the lessons learned from Dimmesdale's confession continue to resonate. The once rigid moral codes give way to a more forgiving and understanding society, where individuals are encouraged to confront their own sins and seek redemption. Dimmesdale's legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of the townspeople, serving as a constant reminder of the power of genuine remorse and the possibility of redemption for all.